Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a brand new blind spot monitoring and ambient light system that I can install in the front dash of my Model Y. I'm really excited to talk about this product, show you guys all of its features, what it comes with, and how to install it. It's going to be great. Let's get into it. So jumping right into the unboxing, I want to give a big shout out to Test Studio. I'm a really big fan of theirs. They've sent a lot of great products over. They make a lot of really cool stuff for your Tesla. So if you're in the market for any Tesla accessories, make sure to check them out. When you unbox this kit, there's not a lot to it. It's a very simple install, as you'll see here, but this is a feature-rich and feature-packed kit. I think you guys will really like it, especially when you add that blind spot monitoring in. It's a no-brainer. So let's take a look and see what all is included. You get a nice kind of pry tool off to start. You get your simple connection, which is going to plug in your lights, and I'll show you exactly where all of this goes. One connection wire there, and then the USB-C lights. And then you get your actual parts that connect to the car. We're going to be using the OBD port down under here under our passenger side footwell, as well as the power down in there as well. So those two connections, and then you get your little light controller here. So super, super simple. Anything else you get is the actual light strip itself. I'm going to show you exactly where this tucks. My model is for the Model Y that has the little slit where I'm going to be tucking this in. I didn't come with any adhesive tape on it, but you can get different models. If you like this kind of kit, just make sure you select the right one. I'll show you where all of this goes. Let's jump right into the install. It's going to take us just a couple minutes, and then I'll go through all the features with you guys. Now, if you watched me on the channel before, you've probably seen me do all of these steps before, but we're just going to take our time and kind of walk through them again. What we really need to do is get access behind this panel and these kind of trim pieces down here, so we can install that OBD port down in our kind of corner of our Tesla down there, as well as power. So this is going to be pretty simple. You can use a pry tool to do this. I've done it enough times that my panels just kind of pop right off. So remove this triangle piece. There's a trim piece right here you got to kind of pull off as well. Just get that out of the way. Now when you get down in here, there's a couple little of those push rivets, those pop toggles. So just take your time, make sure you pull them out, use that pry tool. And there's your first one. And kind of pull this trim piece back. And you can kind of see what we're going to uncover here. Pull this trim piece up out of the way. I kind of like to pop the whole thing off. It's simple to put back on. So just kind of pop it up. Everything held in with just clips. No big deal. Let me get you guys another shot here. So as we move down, you guys can see exactly what we're going to be working with. There's one more rivet over on this side, one of those push toggles right there. I'm going to move next, and we'll get this carpeted piece out of the way. There you go. So once you have those two push rivets out, this trim piece off, you're kind of in business. So let's pull this kind of back and I'll show you where you're working with. Right here is your power port for your Tesla. So we're going to splice into that. I have a few other accessories already plugged in. No big deal. We're just going to daisy chain them together. Kind of move this back a little bit. I'll bring the camera over. What we're looking for is the blue OBD port right down in there. It's okay. I've had a few other things daisy chained into this one as well, but that's the port we're going to be using right where my finger's moving, that kind of blue port down in there. And that's where we're going to plug in our lights. So starting down here with the power, I'm going to actually go ahead and kind of unplug what I have plugged in here and just use this space to install my new blind spot monitoring kit and ambient light kit. So I'm going to push in, kind of pull out this initial one that's there, take my new wire that came in the kit, go ahead and splice that together too. Push that in until you hear a nice click, and plug that new wire in right where we unplugged the old one. There you go. That's getting us power. Super simple. Let's move in here a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and just plug in down in that blue OBD port. See if I can do this while holding the camera. And take just my end here that I know is going to line up down with that blue port. Kind of work my way in. And there you go. You got a nice, kind of satisfying click there. And now we still have access to do more accessories or more things with the additional US or the OBD port here, but we're not going to need it. So we're just going to kind of tuck it up out of the way. That's much of the complicated wiring. The rest is just plugging in our lights right here. And we're going to route it up kind of up behind this area, kind of where some of these other cords are going up to the top. I'll show you how to do all that. Down at the bottom, I have the USB-C port of the cable we just installed. I'm going to go ahead and plug in my new little USB-C port to my ambient light kit. And I have this nice little fishtail right here. what I kind of want to do is tuck these wires up kind of nice and neat, then work towards this top part as I move the camera up. And right here, I'm going to go through this kind of crack right here, because where I'm trying to install these lights is right along inside my dash. There's a nice little slit right here that I'm going to work on installing my ambient light strip. So I think I'm going to do the ambient strip, this like ambient light strip next to make sure my positioning is right. Then I'll come back and finish up all these wires when I'm done. So before I get started, I want to get you guys a little close up of where the slit is that I'm going to be pushing those lights. So it's right here. There's a little kind of gap, and it's going to perfectly sandwich those lights right in that area. It goes all the way across my dash. So that's what I'm going to be working on next. It's going to be hard to get a shot of it while I'm doing it, but I'll have you guys set up so you can watch me just push that ambient light strip right into that kind of area. Make sure it's nice and seated all the way across. So I have the ambient light strip tucked up in that little slit all the way across my dash. And now I just want to deal with this little end here. So I'm just going to take it and kind of work it into this little groove here, kind of moving the pieces around and just kind of hiding it the best I can. It kind of popped out a bit. Make sure you don't pull it when there's not enough slack, but just hide it in these little cracks and crevices around in your Tesla. You can take your whole dash off for this if you want to make it like a really clean install, but I don't think it's necessary. I think there's enough kind of wiggle room and slack in here that I can get it kind of tucked in and no one's ever going to see it. And then when I put all my trim pieces back on right here, it'll be perfectly covered. So the last step is really just connecting up your wires. So I have the wires from everything we plugged in down below, the wire coming from the dash strip, lining them up nice and neat so they attach. And there you go. You can see the light strips kind of turn on in there. It's kind of a bright white right now, but it looks really cool. Let's see all the things it can do. All right, so we completed all of the installation work. We have the blind spot monitoring LED lights all installed up in our dash there. It looks amazing. I went ahead and buttoned up that right side of the car, and I've actually been testing out these lights for quite a while, about a day now, just to see how they actually work, driving around in daytime, nighttime, checking out all of their features and kind of what they offer. So I want to share my thoughts and kind of what I found with you guys here. First off, I love the subtle light. I think it looks great. There's lots of different colors to choose from, and we can go through them here. How you actually change the color is by just swiping up on your scroll wheel when you have this installed. I had a nice orange light there before, kind of changed to a kind of a greenish blue now. I think there's about 7 different lights you can choose from. So you have a greenish blue color. One swipe up, you can kind of get like a purplish almost color in there, purpley blue. Swiping up again, kind of comes in this pinkish color, kind of a pink coral. Another swipe up, you get a darker blue. I like that one, kind of a cyan blue, a little bit darker. Another swipe. This one comes into kind of a deep dark purple almost. Almost a red that kind of changes a little bit to a pink, if I kind of seen it right. A reddish pink kind of color. I like that. Swipe up again. And it looks like this is a very kind of lightish color. It's almost a yellow, very hard to see, kind of a yellow. One more. And this one is actually, if I haven't shown you guys this yet, our acceleration light. So I'm going to move the camera forward a little bit, and then you can kind of see where that is. Now watch, it's just in the center of the screen, but watch what happens when I actually have the car on and I put my foot on the accelerator. Go ahead and turn the car kind of on after I hit the brake. As you're accelerating, it moves across your dash. It's super cool, right? It shows how much you're kind of accelerating. If I push the pedal all the way down, you can see that my acceleration is off the charts. So I think that's just a cool, fun feature. They call it like a sporting mode, and I think it's really neat. So you can see the car's beeping at me because it's in park. Obviously, I'm not going to floor it in my garage. So let's kind of set the camera back up here. And one more swipe, I think 2 more swipes should get us back to where we were. Looks like that's kind of our white-ish light, if you just like a white subtle indicator there. And one more will get us back to the orange where we started. So what is that, about 7 or 8 different light settings? I think that's really cool. I've shown a few other times that when you open your doors, you get an indicator on either side. Now it shows that my door is open over here, my driver's side door. If I close it, that indicator goes away. Super awesome feature. Another thing you'll see, and I'll overlay a bunch of video here of me driving around, but whenever I use my turn signals, you get this awesome indicator that it's on both sides. So that's kind of cool. I love that you can kind of see a nice flashing bright green indicator whenever you're using your turn signal, so you're not leaving it off. This is very subtle in the daytime. It's dark in my garage right now. It's kind of overcast outside. So these lights are looking pretty bright. In the daytime when you're driving around, it's very subtle. It's very tasteful. You're not overpowered by ambient light blasting you in the face, but it's bright enough that you can see it. I'll have some video here on the screen demonstrating all of this as we're driving around. In my opinion, one of the best features of installing this blind spot monitoring ambient light strip is in the name, the blind spot monitoring. I drove around for an hour or so, gathering some footage, taking some video of what this actually works like. It's incredible. I love the ability to just have at a glance, knowing that there's a car in my blind spot. When you're driving around, your ambient light color will start kind of brightening up and flashing a little bit, letting you know, hey, there's a car in your blind spot right now. Don't attempt to merge over there. It's really nice blind spot monitoring. It's in your peripheral vision, so you're not having to look down at the Tesla screen. You're not having to check any other areas. Obviously, always check my mirror and turn my head, but it's nice to have that little visual indicator. Hey, there's a car in your blind spot. There's a car behind you. Just be aware. If you do drive around and you do put on your turn signal when there's a car in your blind spot, you get a strong red warning light that says, do not start merging, there's a car in your blind spot. So if you turn on your turn signal, you'll also see it show up on your Tesla screen as you're driving around. It'll show a big red car, but it also shows up on your monitoring system here. There's a car in your blind spot, don't merge yet. So it gives you a subtle warning indicator when there's just a car there. And if you turn your blinker on and start attempting to merge, it's going to give you a stronger warning light. So awesome feature, love it for safety, and I think it's just really cool. So I've done my best in this video to give you guys an overview about how to install this blind spot monitoring ambient light strip and also some of my thoughts about it. I really like ambient light inside my Tesla. I think it looks really sharp. It adds some highlights to the dash and kind of that front area, which in my opinion are kind of bland, especially with our legacy models, right? A lot of the newer Tesla models, the Highland, the Juniper, they actually have some ambient lighting already kind of built in that's customizable. So this still works for either model. You can install this light strip on your Model Y Junipers if you want that additional blind spot monitoring to show you when there's a car in your blind spot. It also installs on the Highland models as well, even though they already have ambient light. So it's really cool. I think it's a really cool product to have that integrated changing LEDs. It's a great way of kind of accomplishing that blind spot monitoring effect that we all want, that our Teslas are kind of lacking, especially some of our legacy models, right? In the newer Teslas, I do believe they have a blind spot monitoring feature kind of built into your side speakers over here, where they light up in those new Model Y Junipers, but we don't have them in some of our older Teslas. So this is a great kind of stopgap solution. I think it adds a lot of value to the car and a lot of safety as well. I love customizable LED lighting. One scroll of the wheel, it changes the color for you. And that's really cool. You don't need an app to control this. So I like that feature where you're not needing an app to control this. It's just one scroll wheel already integrated into your car. If I scroll backwards on it now, it'll take it back a color, back to what it was before. So you can go up or down on the different colors, maybe depending on your mood, things like that. So whatever you're jamming out to, I think that's really cool. I didn't even touch on a couple other features that they have listed on the website. When you are driving around and you put your car in autopilot, you get some notifications that the car's on autopilot here, kind of like changes through the colors. There's a few other features when your battery is preheating. That's kind of a notification here on your LED bar, things like that. There's a really cool, check out the website. It has all the things listed there about what exactly is included in this blind spot monitoring strip. I love it just for the blind spot monitoring feature. You'll notice that I removed my front dash screen here. What I loved that dash screen for was blind spot monitoring, and now I don't really need one since I have this light strip installed. I think that's awesome. I get all my other good information from the Tesla screen over there. If you're interested in picking up this light strip, I'll leave a link to it down in the description. I got it from Test Studio. They're a big sponsor of the channel. They send over a lot of really cool products for me to review, so I appreciate my relationship with them, and I appreciate you guys checking them out. As always, when you shop at Test Studio's website, use the discount code right here on the screen, Gamble1080. It was saving you 30%. I think it's back to 25% now. So it saves you big when you do buy from Test Studio's website. Check them out. Use Gamble1080 as your discount code. It really helps out the channel when you do that. So thank you guys for doing that. If you're interested in anything else, how I detail my Tesla, how I go Tesla camping, some awesome accessories on Amazon, check out my Amazon storefront. I'll have a link to that in the description as well. It's all about some really cool products for my Tesla I've got on Amazon there, and how I care for my Tesla or go camping. Lots of cool stuff in there, so check that out as well. Thank you guys for coming back to this video. I always appreciate you coming back to the channel, checking things out, and interacting with me down in the comments. What do you guys think of this kind of ambient light strip? Something you'd consider. I already had an ambient light strip in my Tesla, so I already like it. I already had the feature there. This just adds additional functionality to it, which I think is really cool. Taking an existing product, adding more functionality, that's what it's all about. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in the next video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and have an awesome day.